right, the Committee on Parole, we are reconvening at the West Feliciana Transitional Work Program. Today is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. It's 9:38 a.m. Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself to us for the record?
My name is David Brunet, B-R-U-N-E-T.
What's your, DOC? Go ahead. So what's your DOC number?
741-566.
And is there any staff person in that room with you?
The captain. Yes, ma'am.
Could you introduce yourself for the record?
Captain Ben Smiley.
All right, Captain. Thanks for accommodating us today. Mr. Brunet, Cheryl Renatz, I'm sorry, the chair of today's parole panel. Seated with me on the panel this morning, Mr. Roche to my left, Mr. Freeman to my right. Let me just acknowledge we have some folks here in the room with us today who want to speak in opposition. We have members of the victim's family. We have Scott Robinson and Kathy Robinson. Joining us by Zoom is Johnny Selton. I'll first read some identifying information into the record. I ask you to confirm it and we'll start the paroling process. We'll hear from the folks then who want to speak. We'll ask the captain for his input if he has any. And before we vote, you'll be allowed to make a statement at the end. So, Mr. Brunet, you are classified as a second felony offender. You're currently serving a 10-year sentence. You were sentenced to Tangipahoa Parish. Vehicular homicide, you received a 10-year, 5-month sentence. Possession of methamphetamine, 2-year sentence. Vehicular homicide, 8 years. You were looks like you were revoked. Probation was revoked because of the new felony with the meth. Your parole eligibility date was April 3rd, 2022. You have a good time date, which is January 21, 2024. Full term date is August 12th, 2029. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You are currently, so your case has been assigned to me. I'll take the lead on the interview. So you're currently in work release?
Yes, ma'am.
Have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I work for Jets. It's a store, handyman.
Yeah. So maintenance?
Yes, ma'am.
Or how long you been with Jets?
About a month and a half now.
Which store do you work at?
The one in Jackson. I really work by his house, but we meet up at the store in the morning and get a ride to his house. Yeah, I work for him personally at his house.
He works at all the stores.
Stores, really. That's
They
right.
go from store to store doing maintenance.
I see. Okay, thank you. And you completed the steep oil program
Yes, ma'am.
this year, February?
About 2 months ago.
Months ago. And that was an intensive substance abuse program. What did you learn from that program?
A lot, really. Risk factors, all kind of stuff, really. GED, everything.
What did you learn about your substance abuse?
That certain people, places, and things that make you relapse and stuff like that. Really learned a lot. It's just right now I'm trying to think of it all and I can't think of it right now. But I went through MAT class, parenting, learned how to raise kids better and stuff like that. But
Participate in the medically assisted treatment program
yes, ma'am.
with the shot?
Huh?
Are you currently taking the medication?
No, the
You just took
Vivitrol.
the class. Yeah.
No, ma'am.
You have no plan to do the Vivitrol.
No, ma'am. I was gonna do it, but she said it was too late for me to try to get the shot. It was too late in the program to try to get the shot. they had stuff going on with COVID and stuff like that. It was messing them up. So we'd have to quarantine and then we'll get back off of COVID. And she was supposed to give me the shot before I left, but she never gave it to me.
All right. And have you inquired since about it?
No, ma'am.
And you were in, it looks to me, you were in a transitional work release program in East Baton Rouge and were removed in May of 21 for disciplinary reasons. Why was that?
I think I talked back to the man. It was disciplinarian.
Yeah, it was a disciplinary report. What was, and so what was the rule violation?
I think of 14.
That's intoxication.
Intoxication. Yeah.
So what you were positive, you had a positive drug screen or what?
No, he walked up on me and I was slumped over in the doorway.
And after that is when you went to the C12 program.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the substance that you were under the influence of in East Baton Rouge?
Mojo.
And have you taken any victim awareness classes?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you learn in victim awareness?
That that man, I'm trying to think now.
Take your time. I take your time.
What you learn in class?
Well, you learn, you had all kinds of different things with the victim's awareness. It's like a ripple effect that just if you hurt one person, that there's, yeah, if you hurt more in one person, that there's more people that's getting hurt from just you hurting that one person. It's called a ripple effect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How many, if you had the opportunity to address your victim or your victim's family, what is it that you would say to them?
That I'm sorry. And when I run that red light, I was just really trying to do something right by getting my crew paid, because I know how it is on a Friday not getting paid. And that I hope he would forgive me. And I'm sorry. I was really trying to make a right decision by running the red light so I could pay my crew, but he was coming across on a bicycle and I couldn't stop my truck.
You were under the influence of amphetamine.
Adderall, yes, ma'am.
And you did mention, I think you said you got your GED. I see where that was ordered at sentencing. You have completed the GED.
Yes, ma'am.
And as I look at your criminal record, I do see an arrest in 18 for domestic abuse. What was that all about?
Domestic, how long ago that was?
2018.
Oh, that was when I whipped my little nephew for getting in my wife's face, and he was about to hit my wife, so I whipped him, and he run by my mother-in-law's and got mother-in-law to say, he told mother-in-law that I beat him and all kind of stuff. But
All right, well, let's talk about the one in 2009.
oh, that was with my ex. That was a long time ago. She was the one really beating me up.
Yeah, I do see where it was Nile Cross.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not, well, if you were successful today, what would be your plans for employment and where would you live?
I would stay with my ex-father-in-law, and he's got me a job working on the river, making $27 an hour as soon as I get out. So I have a job in a place, but I have my own little handyman service called the House Doctor. So as soon as I get enough money and get my stuff going again, I'm gonna start my business back going again.
How you gonna stay clean and sober?
Yes, ma'am.
How? What's your plan for that?
Staying busy, going to rehabs, AA meetings, stuff like that.
I want a real bona fide plan. What's your plan? Stuff like that's not the plan. I want to know exactly what your plan.
Go to rehab, stay
What kind of
NA, Narcotics Anonymous.
So you mean go to NA meetings?
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's a good start. How many times do you think you go a week?
I think it was like 3 when I was out there. I think 3 times.
So you've done it before?
For like 2.5 weeks. It wasn't long.
Why'd you quit going?
I come to jail.
So you went because the court ordered it.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't go because you really.
It wasn't court ordered, but I figured it would look better on me going than not doing nothing at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but what you're telling me is you did it just so it would look good, not because you thought you'd get anything out of it. That's the problem.
No,
that I'm
ma'am.
that I'm hearing and seeing. You know? All right. I tell you, I just wanted to mention one thing. I'm trying to find it in the record here. I can't put my hands on it right now, but you sent in an application for parole hearing. And on that application, it asks you about, you know, why you're in jail, what's your crime. I can't remember exactly how it was worded. And it struck me that you said you were in jail for 2 counts of meth.
For what?
2 counts of methamphetamines.
No, ma'am. For vehicular homicide, and my parole officer called me with possession of
I know what that is, but I'm just saying on your application, you didn't mention the vehicular homicide, and it struck me. Let me just ask my colleagues any questions. I do know, Mr. Brunet, on your record, I see a loss of 645 days in good time. Is that accurate?
Ma'am.
I see it on your record in my notes. I see where your record shows a loss of 645 days of good time. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am. I was messing up when I first come to jail.
How long have you been in jail?
4 years.
4 years, and you lost almost 2 years,
Yes,
2.5 on your sentence. That's interesting. Okay. Well, thanks for being honest. I tell you what, let me ask Captain Smiley, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Brunet?
Yes, ma'am. I got him a job working with Mr. Jett, doing the maintenance on each of his 10 stores. And so far, David has done excellent. He's done good he's working with another guy that's teaching him everything about maintenance, and he's catching on real fast. And Mr. Jett, I'm sure Mr. Jett would speak for him because he said I sent him a good one. I haven't had any trouble with him since he's been here. I don't know his past, but I do know what he's done since he's been here.
All right, well, good. Thanks for your input. We appreciate it. It's very helpful. All right, now we'll hear from the Robinson family. Mr. Scott, could we hear from you first?
First of all, Madam Chairperson, and for thank this opportunity. It's my understanding that we're giving impact statement, so that's what I would like to do. First of all, it's hard to quantify the impact of the loss of Justin to spirit. He was a creative and imaginative person, an artist, and you'll never know the difference with his art and his creativity and his imagination would make to the world. Personally, I will never know my grandchildren that that would share his DNA, his personality, his presence. We have 7 grandchildren now, and we'll never have Justin's grandchildren. We can't put any kind of number or anything on that. It's impacted our time in that prior to August of every year, the death day, we're preparing and I'm helping Kathy just get through August. And then we're trying to get through Thanksgiving. And then we're trying to get through Christmas. And then after that, we're trying to get through Justin's birthday in February. And there might be a couple of months there where we're not anticipating a time when we experience that loss and deep profound life. The last is that emotional damage is done to Kathy, the boy, the brothers, the family, beyond measure. I can speak personally for Kathy. There are times when ladies grief get hurt so hard that I'll just have to hold her for. It's supported. Everybody knows to grieve. And they come hard, and they come frequently. And that's just one representation of the emotional damage that was done and that ripple effect that was mentioned in the community. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I don't want to take that.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Ms. Kathy? Sir, if you need to stand next to you, feel free to do so. You need to stand, if you need to stand by.
Kathy Roberts, that's the Chief Roberts. And for me, my son was ripped away from me. He's a mother's boy, but he lost stripped away from me. It affects my daily life. Every time I wake up, go again. And the things that I do, I'll never get to hear another I love you, Mom. Or another mother's face anything is hard work. But the problem that I mix up here. But I do believe we're into this system. And I trust that justice will be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right. David,
Yes, ma'am.
and you'd like to say to us before we go to brief statement?
Big up, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't indicate that he was speaking. Mr. Satoon, Johnny, is there something you'd like to say to us? You're on mute still.
Right. All right. Now I got it. Sorry. Dial in from Colorado. So, yeah, huge impact, losing the youngest brother. I know I won't be able to get through what I want to say, but we definitely miss him. That's all I got.
Yes, sir. Thank you. David, what would you like to say to the board? before we vote?
That I hope y'all see it for forgiveness on my part. And I want to tell the family I'm sorry too, because that hurt me, man. It really did.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. I think we are prepared to vote. And I'll be voting first. David, I'm glad that you were able to be given the opportunity to participate in the best program that the state Department of Corrections has to offer. That's the Steve Law program. Unfortunately, you weren't able really to articulate to me what you got out of it, but I have confidence that you did get some good information and good tools in your toolbox to help you stay clean and sober. I'm not willing to do that, to grant your parole today. You have a good time date, a mandatory release date in January of 2024. You seem to be doing very well where you're at. And so because of the opposition that you've heard today, here, the opposition in the record that we have from law enforcement and others, my vote today is to deny your parole. Mr. Rocha.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. First of all, Madam Chairman, I can't take personal privilege. I want to thank the Robinson family for attendance today. I know it was difficult, and we do appreciate your attendance and your input, and your prayers are always going to be with you. Okay, and that goes for his brother in Colorado. Mr. Brunet.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to see that you're doing so well with the jet story.
Yes, sir.
Then a rocky 2021. We had a real rocky. We had 14 Class B disciplinary write-ups, very serious write-ups. And 9 of those write-ups were for intoxication. We had 9 intoxication write-ups in less than 2 years.
Yes, sir.
You were removed from 2 transitional work programs in 2021. You've lost 645 days good time, combined with losing that in the 360 days you could have earned to take a year off. You've lost 2.5 years. You have multiple victims submitting comments, statements, or letters of opposition. You have a moderate risk assessment score. Your good time date is in January of next year. I want you to think about time for the police. I want you to be vigilant about your alcohol and your drug usage, and try not to do what you did. Basically, it was not a good decision. Paying your employees is no way compensation for loss of a life.
Yes, sir.
It was a bad decision. Try not to make those bad decisions anymore. My decision is to deny your request for all the reasons that I just articulated.
Mr. Frank.
Okay, Mr. Brunet, you do have a terrible disciplinary record. What really strikes me is that you went to Blue Walters, I think, in 19, and then you come back and you went right back to drinking. So I'm praying that this program, Steve Hall, like Mr. Renata stated, is the best we have to offer. Takes base with you and you learn from it. But my vote today would also be to deny.
Yes, sir.
All right, Burnett, your parole's been denied today. Good luck to you, sir.
Ma'am,
Said your parole's been denied.
yes, ma'am. I understood that.
Thank you, Captain Smiley. We appreciate you accommodating us. That completes our business at West Louisiana. It's 10:03 a.m.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
All righty.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.